Alright guys, today we are back here on Hirschfelden, and on this occasion we're gonna go over all the locations, the best times in every single hotspot map to hunt all the species on Hirschfelden. And by the way, if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to leave a like and a comment to support the video, and please consider subscribing to the channel. So the first of the 10 species present on this reserve that we're gonna cover on this guide is nothing else than the Canada goose. You know, the Canada goose is a class 1 species that goes up to level 5 medium, although they are also able to make diamond at level 4. On this map it is possible to hunt them on multiple locations, but mainly inside the cornfields. You know, wherever you see these yellowish squares on the map, you can be sure that those are areas where geese can land. So what I recommend you is to place all your decoys inside these cornfields, especially on the ones located within the Muellerwald region, as well as on the ones located down here on Hirschdorf. Just make sure to use a proper weapon like a 22 rifle for those long range shots in case it is necessary, or a shotgun like the 12 gauge Cacciatore for those shots below 50 meters. Alright guys, we're still on multiplayer, and look at what I just found. A max estimate pheasant track. I wonder if this one is a level 3. And I imagine he is not too far because they were feeding right here, but this feed zone is from the past feed time. So they should be on a different place now also feeding, since we're currently at another of their feed times, and the good thing is that they normally eat inside these cornfields. You know, the pheasant is a class 1 species that goes up to level 3 very easy and makes diamond with a score of 20.29, being capable of reaching that score at both level 2 and level 3. And as for the areas where it's possible to find them, the pheasant home range essentially consists of the right half of the reserve, all this area. So make sure to check this entire region if your goal is to find a big pheasant, and I would also recommend you to put a special emphasis on the cornfields, since these areas tend to have a pretty decent number of pheasant feed zones on them, especially while they are feeding during the morning. Also, these two regions are, in my opinion, some of the best places to look for pheasants, so I definitely recommend you to check those as well. Oh, right there. Hopefully that is the right flock. As you can see, there's the feed zone. Let's see. I haven't seen any of them flush yet. And in fact I hear them right here, in the bushes, right there. Level 2, that is the max estimate, up to 20. Most likely not as big as the last one, but there's still a slim chance he's a diamond. We cannot rule that out. How big is it? 19.94. Way bigger than the last one, surprisingly. And it is in fact the one we're chasing because the tracking distance is above 1 kilometer. There's no way it's not. So as I mentioned earlier, the pheasant has a big home range that is limited exclusively to the right half of the reserve. You know, this home range, apart from being the only home of the pheasant, is also the only place where it is possible to find fallow deer. The difference though is that in contrast with the pheasant, the fallow deer can be a lot easier to find due to the fact that they have a drink time which is from 1000 to 1300. So at this time you can easily find them drinking on every single body of water within this home range, which definitely makes them a lot easier to hunt than the pheasants. I think that is the biggest level 4 European bison I've ever seen. Look at that estimate. 126 to 137, the diamond score is 127.6 I believe. So that monster has a really high chance to be diamond. That would be such an amazing first diamond of the hunt. You know, the European bison is a class 9 animal that goes up to level 5 medium but also makes diamond at level 4. And in contrast with both the pheasant and the fallow deer, which are two species that exclusively inhabit the right half of the reserve, the European bison only lives around the left half, all around this area. So I definitely recommend you to look for them while they are drinking from 1000 to 1400 at any of the areas where they can drink, which are pretty much every single body of water inside the left half. We are very close to the herd. And there's the 4. Less than 60 meters out. He's close enough to use the 470. So I'ma lure him to make him turn around. Well, a female got in the way. He didn't spook, luckily. Now he's broadside. And that was a hard shot. He's down. Not too bad. Honestly, my intention was to hit only a double long, but we ended up hitting the heart. So now the moment of truth. Will this be a level 4 diamond European bison? Let's see. 127.6, but it's a gold. No shot, the diamond score is 127.62, so close. So close from being the first diamond of the hunt. Another big track, 29 to 35 kilograms, a max estimate Roe Deer. Will this be the diamond? You know, the Roe Deer is a class 3 species that goes up to level 3 very easy and makes diamond at both level 3 and level 2 in very rare occasions. Also, just as the red fox and the wild boar, the Roe Deer inhabits pretty much the entire reserve, which means that they can be found drinking on pretty much every single body of water across the entire map. Just make sure to look for them while they are drinking at their drink time, which is from 1300 to 1700, and I recommend you to start by looking around the lakes that are located on the northwestern region of the map, you know, these 4 lakes, and then you can move on and check this part of the river, which also tends to have a good number of drink zones. I mean, at the end of the day, they can be found on every single location, so the more lakes you check, the higher the chance you'll have to find the level 3. And in case you want to know, at the moment I am exploring this area, which is located on the Mueller Wall region, and in my opinion is one of the most neglected and underrated locations on the entire map. I rarely ever see people exploring this place, and believe me, it is actually a pretty decent spot to find both pheasants, wild boar, also roe deer and red fox. I heard the call of a roe deer up there. Not sure if it was a male or a female, but it was definitely a roe deer. Right there, well, that's a female. I assume that is the one we heard, but I hear something else coming in. And apparently it's coming directly towards us. Okay, there he is. Oh, look at the size of that. I didn't spot it, but it was clearly the big one. Clearly the one we're chasing. How big is it? He looked pretty big. Not sure if big enough to be a level 3, but I certainly wouldn't rule that out. He may be massive, and who knows, maybe the first diamond of the hunt. Yeah, apparently those are some big antlers. I cannot see them clearly from here, but they look big. So let's see a score, it will be a surprise. The only thing we know is that it is big. How big? 75.87, it is only a gold, very similar to the last one. 31.62 kilograms, is slightly heavier. Man, for a moment I thought it was a level 3. Now, apart from the roe deer, here on Hirschfelden there are another 3 species that also inhabit the entire reserve, which are the red deer, the wild boar and the red fox. So what this means is that these 3 animals, apart from the roe deer, can also be found on pretty much every single location across the entire reserve, and consequently on every single body of water if you decide to hunt them while they are drinking. I would absolutely love to suggest you some great hotspots to hunt these species, but honestly, since their populations are evenly distributed across the entire reserve, it is pretty much impossible to identify any locations that are consistently better than the rest. Hence, these reference maps are honestly the best I can do for you guys in the case of these 4 species. They can be found everywhere. Alright, so before we conclude with this guide, we're gonna go over the locations and some basic information about the European rabbit, which is arguably the less popular species on the entire reserve. You know, the European rabbit is a very small species, it is class 1, and just as the majority of the class 1 species, its max level is level 3 very easy, and also just as the majority of the animals that go up to level 3, they are also able to make diamond at level 2 in rare occasions. Now, as for the locations where it's possible to find the burrows, where it's possible to find these rabbits, here I leave you this map with some locations where you might have a burrow in your map. I mean, you are only gonna have a fraction of all the burrows I show here, so this map is only for reference.